of us present or four of us?
You have 4 present. So you can get going.
So
And
we
we
can
are
call the meeting to
recording.
order.
Yes.
All right. So we are recording, ready to start?
Yes, we are.
Great. All right. So good morning. For the record, I'm Chris Young, Chair of the HDC Sign Advisory Committee. Let's confirm access. Members, please reply with an aye when I call your name. Mark Catone.
Aye.
Paul Wolf.
Muted.
Okay.
Paul, you're muted.
Here I am.
Okay. Ben Norman.
Here.
And has Kevin joined us?
He
Kevin
has
Kuster?
not. I didn't think he
Okay.
was going to be able to make it, but if he doesn't, let me
Okay.
know.
I think he was away this
And-
week, maybe.
Got it. And Kathy Flynn.
Present.
Staff. All right, this open meeting of the SAC is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12th, 2020. That order allows public bodies to convene remotely so long as public access to deliberations is reasonably provided. This meeting is convening via Zoom with video and audio recording, and we're being broadcast via YouTube on the town's YouTube channel. This meeting will feature public comment. Materials provided to members for the meeting or provided during the meeting are available on the town's website. During the meeting, I'll introduce agenda topics and speakers. Please remember to mute your Zoom audio until your name is called. Let's direct comments and questions through the chair to avoid crosstalk and make taking of minutes easier. Lastly, votes will be conducted by roll call. With that said, we'll move on to the meeting. Let's call it to order at 9:04 on April 6th, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve our agenda?
Motion to approve the
Second.
agenda.
All right, thanks, Paul, for seconding. Ben, are you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Paul,
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
Aye. And can we approve the minutes from our March 23rd meeting?
So move.
Second.
Thanks. Thanks, Mark. Ben, are you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Mark?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And I'm as well. Okay. Kathy, before the meeting, it sounded like somebody was here to discuss a topic that might not be on the agenda. Is that correct?
No, it is. You have 2 preliminary discussions at the end of the agenda.
Okay, got it. So is anybody on for general public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the first application, which is NIR at 14 Federal Street. Is Mike Duffy on the line? This is a master sign plan.
Hi, Mr. Chair. How are you?
Good, thank you. What are we seeing here today?
So in front of you today is a master sign application for 14 Federal Street. This is a building that NAR Retail owns. We have a number of tenants in here. I think there's actually 3: Sustainable Nantucket, Eye of the Needle, and Anna PJ. Our tenant Anna PJ is looking to install, I believe, 2 signs, which will be a subsequent application to this. And we wanted to put forward this master sign plan in the event that they are allowed to continue to permit their signs separate of this exercise. So
Okay.
what you see on the building today are the signs for Eye of the Needle and Sustainable Nantucket. So they're both projecting over the street and then inset as the Sustainable Nantucket sign.
Okay. And where would so those are part of the existing approved signage. Where is the new signage being requested?
Yeah, the new signage, forgive me, Kathy, if you're the one driving, if you go to the 8th page where you can see the Sustainable Nantucket sign, just under here, just underneath this sign is where the Anna PJ sign is proposed to go. It's very similar in size. And I don't have their application in front of me, but that's the proposed location exactly. And they were also, if you could go to page 6, looking to have a smaller second sign outboard of Yeah, there you go. Not projecting like eye of the needle, but on the side of the facade here, pretty much where the cursor is there. And again, they had submitted that application. We were told we needed a master sign plan and are moving forward with that as their application comes in.
Okay. So Kathy, that sign is not on the agenda today. Is that correct? The signs that they're looking to apply for?
It is not. And was that from last year, Mike? Anna J?
I think they were going through the exercise last year. We're told that we needed a master sign plan for the entire building before their application would be heard.
Yeah.
And that over the last number of weeks has been that.
Okay, so got it. I'm a little confused because we're not getting specifics, and that's what the master sign plan would want. And maybe their application would provide those specifics, but we need to know, the size and exact locations that
Yeah.
are being requested. So is that in the letter, Kathy?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, as a matter
Or Mike?
of procedure, maybe we were a little crossed, or the information they had received was a little crossed in that we were told we need the building master sign plan, and then they would come in subsequently to that with their application. On page 4, we do have some information, but it is not the full package that they were submitting. So we can respectfully resubmit this with their information attached. We're happy to do that.
Yeah, it's not necessarily their information, but for example, X by Y inches is what we're trying to avoid. We want to
Sure.
have the master sign plan say, 8 by 10 inches or whatever the size that you're asking for is. So they were not given the wrong information in that there has to be a master sign plan for the property in order to have multi-tenant signage approved. But that master sign plan has to be specific so that their application fits it. So you could kind of back into that by saying, well, what are they asking for? Let's put that on our master sign plan application, and then we can make sure
Understood.
it's approvable. But
Okay.
but it just, what we're trying to avoid is the ambiguity of this sign size not being specified. So I think that would be your best course of action, would be to come back with a specific application. Now I've been doing all the speaking. Let me just make sure. Does any other board member want to comment on this?
Yeah, I mean,
Mark,
Good, Ben.
go ahead, Ben.
I was just gonna say this master sign plan's very helpful. I don't think we need to act on it, and I think we just need to wait for the new signs to be submitted, and then we'll use this as our guide for the master sign plan. But I think this is great, and thank you for bringing this, but I don't think we need to act on it at this moment.
Got it, Mark?
I did want to add, we've had a bit of an issue with this building in the past, particularly the eye of the needle tenant, due to the LED lighting, which is, I think, appeared and not appeared and reappeared. And I think maybe we need to include, since we have this opportunity in the master sign plan, that there will be no LED lighting. Now, it's funny, LED lighting's evolved, so I'll have to think a little bit about the verbiage on that, because a lot of interior lighting in general is LED. The problem we had here, I think, was a sort of a rope-like LED lighting that was framing the windows, to be very specific. That was inappropriate. We run into this on this property, and of course the former Met on Main property, or the Whale on Main Street. And we've been trying to address these as they come up. So I do feel like it either should be addressed in this review, or maybe there's a footnote about, the lighting, the appropriateness of lighting, or lighting should be in compliance with the SAC guidelines per the master sign plan. If other commissioners.
Thanks, Mark. That's a good point. So Mike, I think if you could put that into this master sign plan, that would be appreciated, that you put a note that say you understand that the visible lighting from the street meant to accent the windows is prohibited or won't be allowed, that would be helpful. And like Ben said, I think we could actually see this application and their application in the same meeting so that you don't have to have them wait for this master sign plan to come in. They could be reviewed together so that the sizes were reviewed at the same time. But to Mark's point, that building has been a problem for us. So we'd like to see that language included here, that the window lighting will not be allowed in the future.
Yeah, we're happy to add. We will absolutely have that in the, we'll amend the application and to include, and we'll pair it with the signage application for NPJ.
Excellent. Paul, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No comment.
Okay, so let's hold this for revisions formally as the process would go. So does somebody want to make a motion to hold for revisions?
Make that motion.
Thanks,
Second.
Ben. Thanks, Paul. Mark, you in favor?
Yes.
And Paul,
Aye.
Ben,
Aye.
and I am as well. So, all right, thank you, Mike.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good one.
You too. The next one up is also NIR Retail for 18A Federal Street. Is Giovanna on the line?
I don't see anybody, Mr. Chair. I don't know who.
Okay, we can hold that for the end if we want to move on to people that are online.
Okay.
So let's pass on that for the moment. Go to Gail Johnson, 21 South Water, the wall sign.
I can speak. Hi, this is Caitlin Assign here.
Hi there.
We are
Galen, are you
representing.
representing the, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Okay, so this is a resubmission for Sushi Shan at 21 South Water. That's a picture of the previous number 4 of the previous tenants and their sign. Sushi Shan is looking for a sign in the same place. It'd be about 24 by 24, leaving about 5 inches on each side. And that square is the proposed location on page 10. So the
Okay.
wall length is 35 total. That leaves about 5 inches on each side if the sign were 24 by 24. And then page 9. Yep. So on page 9, that's the modified sign, and we added a 3/4 inch painted border
Okay,
as requested.
all right, thank you. Let's open it up for comments. Paul,
I have no comment.
Mark,
No comments, no concerns, I don't think.
okay, Ben,
I think the sign is fine. When I'm looking at page 10 where it's located. Yeah, thanks, Kathy. It just looks kind of awkwardly low. Looks like there's some other stuff
So-
up there, but it just seems like it's like waist high right there. I don't know.
There's above it, it looks like there used to be a light or something, and
Yeah.
so it's like protruding.
Right.
So I don't know if we could cover it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, see that seems like in the right height, it's more eye level where the other one's like it just seems very low. But the sign is fine. So that's my only concern.
okay. And Kathy, just to review the application really quickly, can we just take a look at the language on that? Okay, so it's painted, is this carved and painted or just painted? I'm having a hard time reading that.
It's just painted.
Okay, got it.
And Mr. Chair, I don't know if the signs
Yeah.
have been updated because they don't, it says 24 by 24. Okay, sorry.
Got it. Okay. So Ben, would you like to make a motion that would include your height concerns, or would somebody like to make a motion here?
I'll just make a motion to approve. Nobody else seems to care too much, so that's fine. I make a motion to approve.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second,
Second.
All right, we'll give that one to Mark. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Mark
aye.
and Ben?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you. I am as well. So that'll go up for approval at the next meeting.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's move on to 18 Broad Street. We have a wall sign.
That's
This is-
also us.
I
Okay,
have to recuse
Got
on this
it.
one.
okay. And this is a review that we saw
So from the previous
last time.
meeting,
So what is
we
being applied for?
were asked to modify the size to make it the same size as Benjamin Norman, which is a
Okay.
6 by 24. So that is the proposed size.
Okay. Mark, any concerns?
No,
Okay, Paul?
No, it looks fine.
Yeah. Do we want, I think it looks fine as well. You want to make a motion for approval?
motion.
Okay,
Second.
second. Mark, you're in favor,
Aye.
and Paul, you're in favor.
Aye.
I'm in favor. So thank you, guys. That is
Thank
also
you.
approved. Thanks. Let's go to 16 Straight Wharf, Unit 5. Is Margaret on the line?
That would be us as well.
Okay,
And
and
so this is for Cold Noses, a company of Geronimo's. They are
Okay.
moving to 16th Street Wharf. It's a black and white sign. It's their second location.
Okay.
It's going to be carved and painted. They were previously in the building, I think that's now next to Backyard Barbecue. But now they're moving to the previous jewelry store. So they're looking for a sign. It's going to be hanging on a bracket.
and what's the size of the sign? Let me see that.
The size of
So
the
it's-
sign is about 19 by 15.
Okay.
Oval.
Got it. So that is appropriate size wise. Mark, do you have any comments?
Is this an NR building? I believe it is, right?
Yes.
Maybe I'm representing Kevin today. How are we feeling? I guess this is a question to the board. Certainly we've got some clutter down at Aunt Leah's. And I know some of that's being overlooked right now with the pandemic. But I believe also, and I don't know if it's been removed, Bleck, had mirrors all applied around their entry or something. We've got some violations, I guess, in the building, even beyond the food service establishment. And is that something we want to ask NIR to take on, given there's an application open now? We hold it up. We know what kind of a chase that is on Aunt Leah's realistically, and I don't want to delay Cold Noses for that fight.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure I'm really directing. I unfortunately, my gut is on this is that to chase and get some of this cleaned up will really present a kind of almost an unfair burden on Cold Noses. I don't know when we get these things cleaned up, when we otherwise, but other beyond simply requesting the owner come forward and comply. But those are my thoughts. I have no concern with the sign itself, its location or design. Thank you.
Can
Got
I
it.
just
Paul?
say something?
Okay, go ahead, Kathy.
I'm
Yes.
sorry. Which clutter are you referring to in
Oh,
general?
Aunt Leah's has always been, Aunt Leah's is plastered in signage. I
Fudge.
doubt very little of that is actually been,
The COVID
Approved?
related.
yeah, and well, I
Okay.
know some of that's COVID related, which is, I understand, but I don't think we've approved all that signage that's
Okay.
actually on there, not to mention the signage then they put out on the sidewalk, of course. And then Bleck, which is just outside the photo, I believe, to the right in this frame that we're seeing now, also had some, and it may be more of an HTC than signage, but had mirrors and such that had been applied, I think, around the door frame at one point, completely inappropriate. And I want to even say the Sunglass Hut had some additional signage that had been approved as well. So this is, other than the tenant, the new tenant to the left of where Cold Noses was, which actually looks pretty good. A lot of these units to the right have gotten fairly cluttered up over the last few years. So what that's worth.
Maybe that is
Yeah.
a conversation to bring Mike Duffy in on, and, you know, we certainly have the right to send the violation notices, which would go to NIR, and then that would probably prompt response. I agree with you that Antley is a concern. Let's see what the pleasure of the board is. Paul, do you have any thoughts on?
I
The
don't
sign
think we
itself,
should
or-
punish Cold Noses for the rest of the neighborhood, so I have no problems with this sign.
Okay. Okay, Ben, do you?
No, I also don't have problems with the sign. You know, the little like note of it being a company of Geronimo's is kind of unusual, and then the trademark R next to the island is sort of unusual. I just don't recall having that normally on a sign. So I'd like the rest of the board to weigh in. I just can't remember if we've ever had to deal with something like that before. But I do think, to be fair to all of our applicants, you know, a master sign plan for this shopping complex would be required, I think. And I think, you know,
I believe it's already submitted
okay.
last year at the bottom of the application.
Okay, so yeah, we should definitely have that in front of us. And then, you know, if there are violations on the property, I think we need to resolve those. And I think maybe that's something that we need to do as a board, to issue violations rather than hold the tenant to the fire. But I think sooner than later, we're going to start having to, you know, follow up with violations. So, but on the sign, I think my only concern is the R for the trademark, and then the small lettering, a company of Geronimo's Pet Supplies, just seems unusual. So.
The paw print is on the one on Pleasant Street, the Geronimo's.
Oh, okay. So I assume that means that we've approved it in the past. Anybody remember?
Yeah.
Why won't my phone unmute? Am I unmuted? Can you hear me?
No,
Oh, I'm frozen.
I think we can hear you. Guys, I
Oh,
apologize.
sorry.
I lost my connection for a minute, so I bounced out of the meeting. But Ben, I agree with you. I don't think that the registered trademark is appropriate. We've had many other businesses that, you know, have removed that from their application. So I think that that is an easy thing to request, whether it was approved on Pleasant Street or not. I don't think it should be. We shouldn't continue that here.
Great, let's get rid of it.
So,
Or let's
Okay.
suggest it gets.
And- okay. So do you want to make a motion to approve this sign, Ben, with any of the changes that you suggested?
Yeah, I guess I would motion to approve the sign with the R trademark water stamp removed. And
Okay.
I guess a shot across the bow that it won't be long before we start issuing violations for this complex, if it gets ugly in there again.
Right. We should definitely address that with Mike. And the company of Geronimo's is, you know, trying to think back with like Pacific National where they have said a division of Bank of America.
Yep.
So you're motioning for approval without the registered trademark logo.
Yep.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Okay, and I am as well. So that is approved with the
Mr. Chair?
registered trademark. Yes.
Kevin is at the meeting.
Oh, all
Just
right,
got it.
Kevin. Kevin Kuster, are you present?
Here, here, here.
Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Um,
Sorry, I'm late.
Okay, no problem. We are on
This
item
is us
6 of
also.
the agenda. I'm sorry?
Yep.
You're-
This
are
is
you,
a sign here as well.
Okay, so 147 Orange Street. And this we had seen before as well. What is new about this application?
So we included a picture of it on the building, page number 4. This is a 20-inch diameter circle,
Okay,
Double-sided.
double-sided, painted and carved.
got it. And it will be projecting such that it's above that, that doorway. That it's not gonna be down hanging in the, is that to scale, I guess is the question, is so that we won't be
Yeah,
worried
it
about
won't be
people hitting
hanging
their
on
head?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any comments? Kevin?
I don't. Is this applying for lighting also, or just the sign?
Just the sign, no lighting.
Okay. I don't think I have any concern.
Okay, Mark?
No concerns.
Paul?
No concern.
Ben?
No concerns. Motion to approve.
Okay. Great. Do we have a second? All right, Kevin, are you in favor?
I,
Mark?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And Kevin?
I,
And I am as well. So thank you, that's been approved.
Thank you.
And item 7, Karsten Reinemo at 45 Old South has a wall
That's us
sign.
as well.
Okay. And this is new business, so we haven't seen this before.
Yeah, this is the one, Mr. Chair, last week that this
Ah,
stuff
yes.
wasn't scanned, so here we
Okay.
are.
So why don't you introduce us to this application then? Where is it going? And,
Oh, I went upside down. It's going right there between
Okay,
the two
right side
front
up.
windows facing Old South Road.
okay. And the size of it is, before we talk about location, 55 by 30. Okay. Got it. Kathy, is there the sign book, I think addresses overall height of wall signs, and I don't off the top of my head recall what it says. Can we pull up the sign book really quickly under
Yeah,
wall signs?
hang on one second.
while you're checking that, Chris, I've got a comment.
Yes, Kevin. Go ahead, Kevin. Yes.
What the photograph doesn't show is that this building has a sort of a covered porch entryway, which is a perfect place to hang a sign from. And plus it's by the entrance. I think the sign is improperly placed on the building and should be near the entrance and, you know, more traditionally like the sign would be on a building with an overhang. So that would be my recommendation.
That's fine. We don't have a preference. We just haven't had a sign.
I would agree with Kevin.
Yeah, I had a similar thought that I was a little frustrated that the photo actually doesn't really tell me much about the building. I can't get a sense of the whole, because it's cropped. I don't, if we're gonna provide photos of signs on buildings, we need to see the whole building. Other than maybe being vaguely familiar with its porch and entry, I don't have a sense of what that building really looks like relative to the sign. I guess I'm gonna agree with Kevin's comments as well. And if the size of the sign needs to be adjusted due to that location, then it should accordingly.
Okay, Ben?
Yeah, I agree with everything that's been said. I think as proposed, it feels more like a billboard than a sign to show where the entrance to the building is. And I think we need more information and maybe a little more toned down approach.
Okay, so.
The only reason we put it out front was because that's where Tugboat Tim's sign was. That's where we thought it had to go.
That's interesting. That was the same location.
They had a small one out front and a one facing Jessica Torrey's office as well.
Okay. So do we want to give any specific direction to them if we're going to request revisions? Kevin, you had, I think everybody's in agreement with your idea. Do you want to?
Sure, I
be more
thought it was
specific?
I thought it was
Okay.
pretty clear. I think it should be a hanging sign that should hang off the porch by the front door. And it can still
Okay.
face Old South Road. It's going to need to be designed to be narrower and longer, more like a quarter board. But it should be easily to be read and will be right over the entrance. So my recommendation would be that we hold for those revisions.
Okay. So that's a motion. Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. And so before we vote, does the sign here have any questions about that?
Yes, I'm not quite sure what it is you want us to do. That shape of that sign is kind of our signature, because we hand paint all those signs that we make, and that's kind of our logo. So I can't make it a quarter board because it won't be, it's not that shape. Do you follow me?
Okay, so I think what we're saying right now is that the location should be closer to the door.
Okay.
Which is what all sign applications want to see. You know, the guidelines give you opportunities to come up with some creative ways of applying for that signage, you know, potentially a projecting sign. It could work off your porch post as well. And that can maybe let you use that design. I'm just, you know, throwing ideas out there. It wouldn't be as big, obviously, but projecting signs can be used in combination with wall signs. So you could think about that. But I think the idea is that it wants to read more of us as a sign than a massive block between those windows. So we're voting to hold for revisions. We want to give you a clear direction, as clear as we can, which I think is the direction we're giving you is focus more on being close to the entrance than trying to put the biggest sign, between the windows. Does anybody else on board
prefer it
want?
hanging instead of a wall sign? Is that correct?
That is what that's the way to get it closer to the door, according to what we know of the building. We can't see a picture of the portico at the moment, but I think that's what the board members are suggesting, yes.
Okay.
But follow the guidelines, read the sign book about what that would mean as far as being under, whether it's a projecting or a hanging sign. There will be certain limitations.
Okay.
So.
Okay, that's fine. I wasn't
all right,
going to
so-
do a double-sided sign. I was just going to do a single-sided wall sign, but
Oh, it could be a single-sided suspended sign. Albeit
Okay,
that would be it will be much smaller at that point. So just read the guidelines and see what works best. So we have a motion to hold for revisions that's been seconded. Ben, are you in favor of that?
Favor.
And Mark,
Aye.
Paul?
Before I vote, could we look at the application?
Okay. Kathy, you want to screen share the application?
I'm trying to find it. Here we go.
Okay, so we've got wood, beveled, painted, and carved. All right, aye.
Okay.
No comment.
All right, I think I lost track. Kevin, were you the last person I needed to ask to vote?
Aye.
Or was it Ben? Okay. And I'm in favor of holding for revisions as well. So let's move on to item 8, which is 7 Macy's Lane. I think are we finished with sign here, by the way? Thank you for representing all those applications today.
Thank you
Now
very
we have-
much.
Thanks. We have Kara.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. So this is reviewing one we've seen before.
So we changed the logo. So it used to, I don't know if you remember, the O used to have their logo in it, and he agreed to just have regular text.
Okay, great. It's about 4 square feet, maybe a touch over. It's appropriate size wise. Does anybody have any comments, Mark?
No, I appreciate the revision.
Okay, Ben,
Looks great.
Paul,
No comment.
and Kevin.
No comment.
All right. Somebody like the motion
So move to
for
approve.
approval? Okay, and a second?
Second.
Thanks, Mark. Ben, are you in favor?
I'm in favor.
Kevin,
Aye.
You're still on that
Paul,
sign committee.
Aye.
and Mark.
Can you see if I can come back?
Aye.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Kara. Let's move to 4 India Street, where we have a projecting sign.
Projecting sign.
Okay. Kara, go ahead and introduce us to this.
This is for the Green Market. It's a wood sign that's carved and painted with black border and black text. Double-sided, hanging from the bracket that's there currently. And they only want one sign.
Got it.
What-
What building was this? I'm actually
Bean.
trying to figure.
The
it-
Bean.
Bean
Okay,
on India.
got it, got it. All right. And the size of it is,
2 by 2.
4 square feet.
Four
It
square
might
feet,
look a little
okay.
bit big on my mock-up there.
got it. Okay, 4 square feet is appropriate for that building, so. Ben, any comments?
I mean, I think it's a really handsome sign. I like the font. I'm worried, just from a design standpoint, I'm worried that the font is sort of getting lost in the wood grain.
So this is their logo. So we did make it small,
Yeah.
but that's their logo.
Yep.
And I know
And
this is
I think
this
it's
is
probably
exactly what they want.
15%, relatively. So I know it doesn't really meet our guidelines for font, but it does seem like it might be getting a little lost in the grain of the wood, just from a visual standpoint.
Yeah, Mark?
I looked at this in the view pack. I thought it's very attractive. I like it. I have no concerns.
Kevin?
Yeah, just a question through you. Did I hear it's being proposed as a one-sided sign?
No, it's double-sided.
Double-sided, okay. Yeah, no, I have no concern.
Okay, Paul?
No concerns.
Okay. And my only comment, I think I agree with the thought that I just don't want it to be too thin, the lettering, that you don't, in the end, read it when the wood weathers and becomes gray. And so I think
Can I
And
assume
then we
that
can
the
talk
wood,
to the sign maker about making the letters a little heavier.
well, also, will it be,
I-
the wood be
yeah.
sealed, so it won't weather actually, I assume? So there'll be higher contrast between the lettering to the wood grain?
And the wood might end up being a little bit lighter than pictured here.
My point being is it can be sealed,
Yeah.
which will preclude it from turning a gray or a silver. It should hold its color.
Yeah.
Therefore, you're going to get higher contrast to your lettering, which is to your benefit.
that would be good.
Okay.
I think the font is actually approvable.
Yeah.
The fact that it has some little leaves on it doesn't, strike me as being that out of line. And so to make it a little bolder, just so that it's, make sure it's readable, nothing over the top, but I would not mind seeing it. Those thin lines of like the left side of the M and the A and things like that, I don't want them to be too fine that they're not readable from the street, but I don't have any, I like the sign as well, so. Would somebody like to make a motion for approval?
Motion to approve?
All right. Second, anybody?
I'll second that.
All right, thanks. Ben, Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Mark
Aye.
and Ben?
Aye.
And I am as well. Great. Let's go to 48 Center Street. And Kara, you can introduce
This is a new surf
us
shop.
to this sign.
It's
Whoa.
called Stoke Ack.
No.
This is
Okay,
like
Stoke.
what they would like.
Needs.
okay. I will open this up. Paul, do you have any concerns?
I have concerns about the color and the contrasts.
Okay,
If we change the color to, they would be open to changing the color to all black if you don't want the color.
Can you put it back on, Kathy?
so Kara, if you said all black, meaning would the checkerboard, with the lettering would be black against the checkerboard? I'm not sure that would read.
And this is how they would like the sign. If it is
Yeah.
unacceptable, I think our options would be to change the pink text to white or black. Or to change the whole sign to just solid black with white text.
Okay, I'm just thinking if you change the text, the font, black or white, I don't think would read against a black and white
Well,
checkerboard.
it will be
Yeah.
it will be carved out. So I don't know if you see there's like a black shadow there.
Gotcha. I'll continue to go down the line then. Ben?
Yeah, I mean, I think we gotta tone down the sign. I think it's just too much. I mean, I would like to see the sign toned down. I think we all are gonna realize that from judging from the sign that these store windows are gonna be quite expressive. I think the signs might be just like, they might not be as important once the store overtakes this spot. It just feels like this is going to be quite a show. So I think white and black, I think we need to tone it down. Yeah.
Okay, Kevin?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything appropriate about the checkered background at all. I'm not sure what language we have, but having pattern backgrounds of any kind certainly isn't in keeping with the guidelines, and neither is that, pink color. I think part of the application process here is that the applicants need to be sure that they're looking at the guidelines before they just say what they want. This isn't about saying what you want unless it meets the guidelines. So anyway, if they want to go white copy on an all black background, that meets the guidelines, and I'd be okay with that.
Okay. I
Okay.
think they will be open to that. So we will resubmit for next week.
All right, let me just finish going down the line.
Mhm.
Mark?
Yeah, as attractive as the green sign is, this is completely inappropriate. Yeah, by contrast. And I do question, so I think, yeah, we need to see a resubmittal on this. I haven't heard a suggestion yet that will be fully compliant. So we'll take a look at a revised graphic. But while we have this image on the screen, if I'm not mistaken, we're looking at also a menu box that's currently on the building, which would equate to maybe 3 signs. Should we address that? Is that going to
Yeah.
remain? And
That's a good point, Mark.
yeah, thank you.
I don't think he's planning to use the menu box. I can give him the option of 1 sign or the menu box.
And then while we're looking, I think technically at the moment, we're looking at the suspended sign, but the projecting sign, let's just review that while we're on the subject. What is the size of the projecting sign? And how low is it to the
36.
sidewalk?
36 by 14.
Okay, so I think,
They're both 36 by 14.
got it. I don't believe do we have any 36-inch projecting signs? I'm not even sure that might just be too long of a sign from a
We could make it
design
smaller.
perspective. Yeah, and I think keeping in mind that it can't be too close to the sidewalk either. It has to be 7.6 above the sidewalk. So when you're reapplying, take those things into consideration. I don't off the top of my head recall if there's a listed maximum length to a projecting sign. But 36 inches by 14 is getting close to like quarter board proportion. And I don't think that that's anything we've ever approved on a projecting sign. So just take that into consideration.
Okay.
And I would be in favor, like Kevin said, if it was black background and white fonts, I think that would be, to give you some direction, I think that would be an appropriate design element, with keeping a border in mind as well. So, make sure that it's not just a black blade, but put some kind of a border around it.
Can I also make one quick comment?
Yeah, Ben.
And Kara, this has nothing to do with you, but the owner of this building has a really bad for rent sign. You can see it behind the no parking sign there. It's horrible. And they've been pretty guilty the past year or so of having bad for rent signs. So it won't stop this application from going through, but this is a great reminder that I've always wanted to send these people a warning notice that they can't use that type of signage.
Yuck.
Got it. Good point. So let's make a motion to hold for revisions.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, thanks. Mark, are you in favor?
Yes.
And Kevin?
Aye.
And Ben?
Aye.
And Paul?
Aye.
Okay, and I think that covers both applications 10 and 11 on the agenda. Right, they'll come back as a package.
Yes.
All right. Thanks, Kara.
Thank you.
And do we have Mr. Kodalak on the line?
Actually, Jen Allen here on behalf of
Oh, hi,
Mike
Jen,
Allen, who's
sorry.
the lessee. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
What are we?
So good morning. Yeah, we are taking over the former Brant Point Marine space, looking to replace the suspending sign that was right there with actually the same dimensions, same location, wooden carved sign, 21 inches high and 34 inches wide. black and white.
Okay. Paul, do you have any comment?
No, I think it's fine.
Ben?
I'll be sad to see Rick's sign go, but so be it.
Mark?
I'm excited to see the new sign.
There you
No, I
go.
think it looks good.
Okay. Kevin?
I'm thrilled to see the new sign. No
All right.
concern.
I have no concerns. Do you want to make a motion for approval?
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
All right. Paul, are you in favor?
Aye.
Ben?
Aye.
Mark?
Aye.
And Kevin?
Aye.
And I'm in favor as well. Okay. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.
So we have to bounce back up and just review the one that we passed over, which was, I believe it was
18A Federal?
18A Federal Street. Thank you. Let's look at that before we get to our preliminary discussion.
Sure.
And
So I believe, Mr. Chair, this is they're relocating Pollock sign from South Water Street to Federal Street. So this is where the original location was. You can see it right there. The sign. That's where it is now, and that's where they want to put it, right?
on that bracket.
Yeah, which is right
Okay.
here. Okay,
And what's the size of this sign?
let's see. It says 38 by 19
Hmm.
oval.
Okay. After I just directed Kara about the 36.
Hope Kara's still on the line listening to this.
Well, I can be corrected. So let's take a look at the existing sign in its old location, just so we get a sense of that again. Okay. Does the board have any concerns? Let's go, Kevin?
I can't tell what would be appropriate. I don't have a problem with the design of the sign or with the sign moving. I just don't know that it's the right size to fit that what appears to be a smaller scale entrance. I can't tell. I think we'd have to have a more accurate drawing, I guess, and maybe somebody else can eyeball it, but I mean,
Right.
that's my concern. That building, it seems to be that when they get, the signs are all relatively seen together there, and an odd one can really stand out.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a good picture there to show how it didn't extend beyond the end of the bracket. If we go to Pollock's old sign location, Kathy, let's just see how theirs, we can't really tell if it extended beyond the end of the bracket there, but it might have.
Hard to
But yeah,
tell.
perhaps we should make sure, I don't want to see a bracket that, only goes 2/3 the way out off the building compared to the sign.
Can I motion to hold for more information? Because I share Kevin's concerns. It looks, by comparison to the photo, though, it looks large and it may overwhelm that entrance and existing armature. But maybe they can confirm that for us with more information.
Okay, do we have a second for that? Hold for more information?
I'll second that.
All right, Kevin, are you in favor?
Aye.
And Paul,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
and Ben?
All right.
And I'm in favor as well. So Kathy, if you just let them know, perhaps the best thing to do if they had the chance would be just take the old sign and suspend it from that existing bracket on the new location. See, send us a photograph. That could be a good way to represent it, but let them know our concerns.
I would.
Okay, great. So Kathy, what is the preliminary discussion here?
There were two, and one for Sanford Road Unit 2. I don't know if she's here or not. And then the other one is for 40 Sherburne Commons. Or Liz
All right,
B. I don't know
let's-
who Liz B is. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Liz B., who are you here to represent? Supposed to have their names on the.
Liz is here for the next presentation for Sherburne Commons.
Okay, so you're
Okay,
going
well-
for Sherburne Commons.
Why don't we give you guys the floor? Whoever would like to speak, go ahead.
On Sherburne Commons?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were still on the other one. Thank you for having us here. I'd like to start. I asked Kathy if I could read the original email to her with the presentation, with our proposal. And then I'll go on to describing the signs. And I did submit some exhibits for you to look at. Briar Patch Pediatrics, Boston Children's Hospital has asked Metro Sign and Awning to permit and install signage at its location in the Sherburne Commons residential community. I have read the sign book, and it's obvious the signs designed by others do not meet strict conformance to the guidelines set forth. I've been told to initiate the application process and that perhaps the locations of the signs or the use of the facility may allow the proposal as designed. As recommended in the SAC procedure guidelines, I am requesting to be placed on the agenda for the next available SAC meeting, Zoom meeting, which is this meeting right here. May I describe the signs to you, please?
Yes, please do.
Okay, sign number 1, sheet number 3 is the main ID wall sign. The material is HDU board with carved script and a raised vinyl logo. The size is 20 inches high by 80 inches wide by 2 inches in depth to equal 11.11 square feet. The script is sans serif style. The colors are the signature brand for Children's Hospital, and their logo is the signature blue background, which are carved letters, and they'll be painted white. The attachment process, stud mounted with appropriate hardware, and of course the attachment material will not be visible. Illumination is natural light. The copy is Briar Patch Pediatrics, Boston Children's, Primary Care Alliance. The other two signs are pretty much identical signs. Location 3A and 3B, they're freestanding post and panel directional signs. Sign 3-1 is double-sided. Sign 3-2 is single-sided. The material is the panel is Extema panel, and there is at the end of the exhibits I passed out is a description of that material. It has vinyl script, and it's the sans serif style once again. The posts are mahogany, and posts and cross arms are mahogany, 4-inch by 4-inch posts. The panel size is 24-inch high by 18 inches wide by 3/4 inches in depth to equal 3 square feet. The colors, once again, the signature blue background with the white logo and script and arrows. The attachment is a universal bracket and angle clips, which are painted to match the post. And of course, the installation of the post is direct burial. Illumination is natural light. The copy is logo Briar Patch Pediatrics, Boston Children's, Primary Care Alliance, and the directional arrows. The grade to the top of the sign is 60 inches. The grade to the bottom of the sign panel off the ground is 26.75 inches. And that would be my description.
Okay. Did you say that there's a Jen as well on the line?
There
Does
is,
she want to add any, or Liz, was it? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Liz. I think she's probably going to leave it to me unless she has some comments at the end.
Okay, so this is a preliminary application. Thanks for bringing it in before formalizing it. Let me go down the members and ask for their comments. Kevin, do you have any comments?
Yeah, I guess my comment at the get-go would be to the manufacturer of the sign that I understand that they don't agree that we're enforcing the guidelines, but that doesn't give them the ability to just ignore them. That said, freestanding signs are not allowed in any context. This material is not approvable. And vinyl letters and the sans serif copy, the way that it's presented, is not approvable. So my suggestion would be to, like I said, to rather than to debate the sign guidelines, is to follow them. That's all.
Okay, Ben?
I don't disagree with Kevin on this, but to the applicant's benefit, this is private property and it's very well within their campus. So I'm not sure that the HTC has jurisdiction over this if it's not visible. So as much as I agree with Kevin on all the details of this, if it's not visible from a public way, this is private property. And I don't, at that point, I don't have a stance on it. So.
I see cars in there. That would tell me that people can drive there, which makes it a public way, correct?
I don't know. I don't really know if this is where this falls.
I think it would still be in our purview to review it. We might have some flexibility, but I do think that campus signage in general is something that we are asked to approve. So.
And I guess maybe I'll retract that, because if this is a business, then you're inviting the public to your business, and then that becomes public. So I retract that comment. I think we do need to hold this to the standard. I'm sorry. I agree. Thank you, guys.
Okay, thanks. Mark?
Yeah, I very much feel like this is a public accessible area. And I agree with everything that's been said within Kevin's comments. Thank you.
All right, and Paul?
Yeah, I agree too. The sign over the door, it would appear to me, may not be visible from a public way, but the directional signs certainly are. On the other hand, at the hospital, which is also a campus environment, we did approve some directional signs. However, I think there's too many of them. Maybe one would be appropriate away from the road, not the one here on the corner. Those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I have the same opinion. I think that we need to be careful here. There's, the question of public information signage to at least get people to the right building, that where the door is. I've been in this building for a doctor's visit, so I know it's not visible as you're pulling into the campus. To find that door is not visible from the street. However, I was able to find it without much difficulty. So there are ways to get people to the right location. So I think that we need to be strict with the guidelines enforcing that no more freestanding signage than is necessary. And certainly the materials need to be in line, and the graphics. Arrows, for example, are specifically something that is strongly discouraged, if not just, I think the only exception was the emergency room signage, and that had quite a bit of conversation associated with it. So I think there's a little bit of, if not a lot of work left to revise this application to make it approvable.
Previous speaker mentioned perhaps one freestanding sign. Is that sign number one he's referring to, or sign number two?
I'm not sure if, I think the sign number, well, knowing this location, sign 1 is right off of the main driveway when you come in and you're turning right into the parking
Yes.
area.
Yes.
Sign 2 is actually at the end of the walk, which would take you over to the quote unquote front door.
Uh-huh.
So, I would, knowing the space, I would think that the exception that would probably be most approvable would be to use a wall sign on that elevation where you have the markings of the window sizes. Even though that's not the primary elevation for this entrance, that's an elevation where if you were to put a sign, and you could put a reasonable quarter board up on that wall, it would be visible from both the driveway as you pull in and the parking area. So it could, in theory, replace both of those freestanding signs as far as the purpose of identifying where people are headed if they're trying to get the Briar Patch. So that's a consideration that, I think you could, that you could look into. I don't know if anybody else on the board is familiar with this and wants to comment on that.
Chris, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know this building. Is it part of the Commons of the Sherburne main building, or is it a separate building, and what else is in it?
This building is one of the first ones you come to on the right-hand side as you pull into the whole complex. So the main building is further down.
So what else is in that building besides this, where these people are going?
I don't know, Mark, do you want to speak to that?
Myself here,
Yes.
because you have a Mark who's on the.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. I do not know. I know the residences across the street. I have not been to the site. So I can't answer to that, really.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, through you,
Yes, please, Kathy.
Ms. B is asking a question through the chat feature, and she said, is a sans serif font not acceptable on the wall sign?
It would, if it was all capitals, turning it into more of a block letter approach, which has been approved. Serif letters are required, if not strongly encouraged. So I think that that's something that they should consider if they want their application to move forward with ease, is serifing the letters. And it really is not, as we've said with FedEx and Stop and Shop and all the other corporations that have modified their fonts to become appropriate. It's really not that much for us to ask. And so I think, yeah.
Are the colors what you might approve?
Anybody want to comment on that? I think
so.
We might want to see the color chips. Yeah, we've had some blues where they've been really a bright blue. So sometimes we're, not getting the true representation when we see these
I believe this
media
would be
generations.
Yeah, it'd be a matte finish.
Yeah, when I say bright, I mean extremely vibrant, not necessarily shiny. But if this image is representing the shade of blue, that's probably appropriate.
Thank you.
Or approvable.
Yep.
Chris?
Does anybody else? Yes. Paul.
Yeah, I would like to know when they come back more about this building and who's in it and what kind of, where I'm going. If there's going to be other doctors' offices, or there are going to be some kind of needs for more signage, we should know about it now.
That's a good point. Yeah, if this is going to need a master sign plan, let's have it approved before we approve the first tenant. So Mark and Liz, that's basically saying that when you have multi-tenant buildings where there might be more than one applicant asking for signage, we want to know ahead of time, get a master sign plan approved so that each subsequent tenant knows what their rights are, and we're not reacting, trying to find the best solution around existing signage. So consider that if Sherburne Commons or whoever the owner of the building is going to be renting this space to other doctors, we should look at this as a whole, not as a single application.
Understood.
Or, yeah, or else Sherburne Commons should realize that by having this approved, they might be limiting the opportunity for future people to have a sign at all. So. All right, so there is no formal application, so we don't have to make a motion. I think we can just conclude the discussion unless somebody else has anything they want to add.
Mr. Chairman,
okay.
I'd just like to thank you and the board for allowing us to do this pre-presentation. Thank you.
No, thank you. It'll save obviously a lot of time. And
Yeah.
Paul, were you going to say something?
No, I said thank you for doing it.
Oh, yes, yeah. Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
All right. So let's move on to, is Jurgita online for Sanford Road?
I don't see her. I didn't speak to her, so I don't know if you wanted to review it anyway. I haven't even looked at these.
Do we have anything to review?
Stand by, let me see. Yeah, she spoke with Kadeem. Um, all right. So she's at 2 Sanford Road, Unit 12, Unit 2.
That's Glidden's.
Yeah,
So it looks like she's giving us examples of lettering, which I think we're all familiar with those locations. What is she asking for?
I didn't speak with her, so I honestly don't know. She wanted to join the meeting for preliminary discussion, and then I was sent this. And so I'm sorry.
Since she's not on the line, let's just put it on to the next agenda and
Sure.
invite her to come on then.
Okay.
Okay. Any discussion on enforcement?
No, other than Paul, the alarm sign was removed.
Oh, good.
Like I said, I'm getting
Great.
better response from the sign violations.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
How about the construction site signage? Did any of those letters go out?
So
Before
we had discussed that before, and we were waiting for
Okay.
kind of a letter, and Kevin did send something, but I sent it yesterday. I don't know if you all have had time to review it, and maybe if you wanted to hold off and discuss it next week. I just didn't know what your plans were, but I can pull it up.
Okay. Yeah, good segue to the next item
Yeah.
on the agenda. I saw it. I liked it. I think the one thing we should be careful of, there was a picture of Buff Millington's sign, I think was our not appropriate sign. I think we might want to, if we're going to publish that, haze out his, just so that we're not specifically publishing somebody saying this person's not appropriate. We could make it impossible to read what his text actually is, if that makes sense to everybody. I just don't want to point somebody who's actively doing business on the island out as being a violator for everybody to see.
So I could just like,
Well, but I'd like to know what happens when I get a ticket on my car. Can I have them hide it somewhere?
Well, that's true, but you know what I'm saying? I think it doesn't, we don't need to.
We can pick somebody
maybe
else too. I just thought.
Maybe
that
I'm
was-
being sensitive. I'm just saying, I think we could do that in such a way that you can't call him out.
Anyway, this is going to need a little more time, I think, than we want to take today, because it's kind of a rehash of this whole thing. And it seemed to me that by trying to squeeze people into a 1 square foot, we really weren't giving any flexibility to add much. And the other thing that seems to be a problem is that sometimes these signs need to be in places where they, in order to be read, they can't be on the building. So with those two things, I thought that it would be reasonable for us to increase our size. So I bumped it up to 11 by 17, and I gave a post option of a single post. And you can see kind of the difference in those examples, and then just adjusted some of the other provisions. But you may want to just kick this around for another week. I think what'll ultimately probably have to happen is it would result in a change in the guidelines overall. So there may be other tweaks and changes to the guidelines that we want to make. But, you know, this is just my interpretation of an option that I think might help out in the field.
Kevin, can we send
Excellent.
you, can we send you a few suggested changes?
Yep.
Okay,
Excellent.
nothing serious.
Yeah, no, feel free.
Ben, do you have any comment?
No, I mean, I think we need to reel it in. Sometimes with these temporary signs, I kind of like don't care that much, but it seems like they're only temporarily in one location. They're just moving to the next property, and so I think we need to reel this in, and I think this is a really good start. Thank you, Kevin.
Excellent.
You know, and another
Yeah,
thought I
okay.
had in it is that maybe we work out a program with the builders that once they have their sign format approved, that they don't need to resubmit it. You know, they're not submitting it now, but maybe there's a way to bundle it up that when they get an approval, they don't have to come back for another one of any kind. That was another thought.
Yeah, that would be nice. Mark, do you have any thoughts?
No, I like the idea that they will actually have to apply for the temporary signage. And maybe not in every instance, but in the initial, and the understanding that these will be posted at the various job sites as required. They're temporary, but you know, these temporary signs have gone 2 and 3 years on a site. I mean, there's one on Pulpus Road, right, or Pulpus Road right now that's going over 2 years at least, you know, on the road. I think, and I did look at this yesterday when it went out, and I think it's all headed in the right direction, and kind of excited about the opportunity to sort of clean this up. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Yeah, thanks, Kevin. So let's just draft any suggestions, send them to Kevin, and then we can get this approved. Perhaps as part of, if we're going to change the guidelines, we would have to go through the formal notification and publish it and all of that. So as you point out, Kevin, maybe it's part of a bigger change if there's other things that we need to incorporate at the same time. But this is a great start. Thanks.
Mr. Chair, through you, you have this
Yes.
a slot for an hour and a half every Tuesday. So if you wanted to use a portion of it or a whole entire meeting to discuss that, you
Okay.
I also
All
sent in a paragraph on the mission. It's kind of small, but
Yeah, I didn't
our
read
other
it.
copy that's on that homepage for us seems to describe the rest of it. So,
Yeah, it's not on the agenda, so I didn't
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't show it, but we can discuss it next week.
I read it.
Secretly.
It looked,
Go ahead, Mark.
it looked okay. I think it fits on a t-shirt, so it'll be fine.
All right. Our next meeting is next Tuesday at 9 a.m.
So you all want to start
Same.
meeting weekly?
That makes sense. Looks like we're getting,
Yeah.
they're building up.
Yeah, last year it was funny where they didn't have a lot of signs because of the uncertainty of the pandemic and the local economy. Now we're starting to get a lot of that. So weekly would be a great idea for me anyway.
All right. Well, good job, everybody. I think we got through this agenda very efficiently today. So thanks to all of you. Would anybody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Anybody want to second it?
Second.
Thanks, Paul. All right. Ben,
Aye.
you in favor? Kevin,
I
Paul,
Aye.
Mark.
Aye.
Thank you. Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right,
Good
thanks,
day.
everybody.
Bye, guys.
See you
Bye,
next
guys.
week.
Everybody,
Bye.
bye.